When you're asked to find the square root of a number, the first thing I ask is, do you know what a square is? Most kids will say yes, they know what a square is. It's a shape that has four sides, four straight sides, and all the sides are the same length. Now, I always remind them that the opposite sides have to be parallel, but that's just a little side note. The main idea is a square has four equal sides. So, for example, a square would look like this. It might have 4 on each side, 4 centimeters, 4 inches, 4 units of some kind. It might have 6 on each side. It could have 6 on each side. And so that would still be a square. It doesn't have to be a whole number. It could have 3.5 on each side or 1.5 on each side. As long as every side is the same length, we have a square. Now, if we know what a square is, it should be pretty easy to find the area of that square. Area just means how much would it take to cover this space. So it would take, if these are, let's make them inches. If these are inches, how many little square inches would it take to fill up this space? Well, how do we find area of a square? Our formula chart might say something like area equals a side squared. Well, squaring something means to multiply it by itself. So squaring a side means that the area would be the side times itself. Okay, so I would take a side and multiply it by itself. Well, for a square, that's really the same thing as the rectangle formula, which says take the length and multiply it times the width. Multiply it by the width. Well, on a square, the length and the width are going to be the same, which is why we have this alternate formula that says take a side and multiply it times itself, because you're going to take the length, which is 6, and you're going to multiply it times the width, which is 6. So you're really just taking a side of 6 and multiplying it by itself. And so the area for this square would be 36 square inches. 36 square inches would be the area. So that's how we find area of a square. Now, I mentioned that before we discuss square roots because square roots just means what's the root that we use to make this square. So I put a little picture of a flower.